Welcome, everybody, back to the Big Fellas Show podcast thingy-majig. Don't know really what to call this yet. It's just two friends yapping about weight loss. I lost 110 pounds. My good buddy over here, Mike, has also lost 110 pounds. We're going to dive right into it because we have a little less time than we did last time. And today Mike has a really fun topic that we're just going to dive right into. Mike, take it away, my boy.
Hey, everyone, it's Mike. You can find me at Mike Needs a Plan anywhere you have social media. And today you can find me here with my buddy Noah. And we're going to be talking about how life is not a deviation. Now, what do I mean by life not being a deviation? I went on a trip this weekend. I knew that I was going to have food because that's what happens when you go on a trip. You get to experience the food that's there. And I wanted to make sure that people understood that this was not a deviation from my plan. Enjoying things is not a deviation. It's part of my life. And that was a very important part of rehabilitating my relationship with food, was understanding that everything that goes into my log, though I didn't log anything this weekend, is the same. There's no thing that is morally higher or lower than any other item. It's just simply a data point on a list. So that's what I think we should be talking about this week.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of really relevant client conversations that kind of ring true. They're relatively recent. Obviously, a lot of them come around with like the holidays and stuff, but we talked enough about that on episode 1. If you haven't checked it out, go take a look. That was a really good one. We got a lot of really awesome feedback. So those of you that were like liking, commenting, messaging us, thank you very much. With that being said, a big thing, if anybody is above like, I don't know, somewhere in the northern hemisphere, basically in the US, you got buried with snow. We got absolutely demolished last week. If you guys saw my Instagram, I posted a couple pictures on my story of me digging my car out of my driveway unsuccessfully. So
I saw
we
that.
got hit really freaking hard, and a lot of my clients got buried by the snow. Now, like Mike said, he was traveling. He posted videos about him eating pizza, and it's not a deviation from your fitness journey, whatever it is you may be trying to do, bulking, cutting, maintenance, whatever. When we talk about a healthy relationship with food, it's about looking at the curveballs that get thrown at you as just another step in the journey, as opposed to a light switch that like, oh God, I'm not at home on a Tuesday in my routine, perfectly going everything at the time it needs to. If it's not the exact routine that I'm used to, I'm going to fall off. I'm immediately fucked. No, that's not the case at all. I had quite a few clients talk about getting snowed in. I've got a couple people in Canada. I've got a couple people in the Northwest, like the Dakotas. I mean, they got hit even harder than I did it here in Michigan. So these people are, some people are bunking up with their parents, or, whatever the case may be. They're not used to having their routines are broken one way or another. Bottom line, their routines get broken. And it was talking about how we can continue to make solid choices whilst enjoying ourselves without feeling like it's the end of the fucking world.
Part of life not being a deviation is also understanding that your plan should too be enjoyable. If you're only enjoying yourself in the deviations, there's a problem there as well. I enjoyed myself there just as I enjoy myself when I'm home. I enjoy every meal that I have. I make sure they're all tasty. We don't gain the weight without liking food a little bit. So you have to be enjoying this thing the whole time. It can't just be on vacation. The vacation's not about food, and I don't want it to be about food. And if you're only finding enjoyment when you go on vacation, that might be the case. You're going to be looking for that enjoyment, and it might not be responsible when you do it.
Yeah, a philosophy that I kind of talked about a lot was, are you hiding behind the holidays or the vacation or the occurrence, the occasion, as an excuse to go completely hog wild, right? Like, are you hiding behind the fact that it's Christmas, or hiding behind the fact that it's Thanksgiving, or hiding the fact that you're on vacation to use that as an excuse to just go hog wild without anybody judging you, because it's like, oh, I'm on my vacation, or oh, it's Christmas, or oh, it's XYZ. That is a very, very, very common occurrence that I not only use regularly, but it's super common when you see it in binge eaters, people who have binge eating problems. And yeah, right, same. And so to overcome that, Mike talks about needing to enjoy the plan throughout it. I have usually a different philosophy, not necessarily between Mike and I, but just like as the majority of the fitness industry, because when you think about a journey, you think about you before starting the plan. You starting a plan, whether it's a meal plan, a workout program, a basic calorie deficit, keeping it simple and loving yourself by listening to Noah Tanner and Mike Pridgeon. Whatever you end up doing, you are before, during, and then you're after. And the after is the part that everybody has to approach a little differently. But in my philosophy, I don't want you to feel like you're on a plan once you've gotten to the goals that you want to achieve. Once you're maintaining, you shouldn't feel like you're on a plan. You should just feel like you're living life. You just know a little bit more about calories. You just know a little bit more about protein. You know what to do in certain situations. You know, oh, if I go this, okay, I know I'm going out to dinner with Mike tonight, so I'm gonna eat a little bit higher protein tonight, so I can have a little bit more of an options range when I go out to dinner with him, and we go on a nice romantic candlelit dinner. You know, it's gonna happen. So really, it's the deviations you go through now while you're on a weight loss journey are preparing you for the rest of your life once this weight is gone. Because you're going to need a script to follow mentally. When I say script to follow, you're going to need to show your brain, hey, I've done this before. I can just keep doing it that way because I enjoyed myself now. I might as well enjoy myself. I mean, you're going to be done with the weight loss. You want to live the life after the weight loss. You don't want to still feel restricted.
Have you ever broken a bone?
I've torn a bunch of ligaments, but I've never broken a bone. I've torn my ACL. Does that count?
Was your way of healing through that walking on it or using it?
Eventually,
yeah. But what did you have to do to get to eventually?
Just sit on a fucking recliner and cry for a couple months.
Which is not the greatest weight loss plan. But you could, in theory, lose weight on that recliner while
I actually did. Because the drugs had me so whacked out. I was just kind of in a trance for like a month. Funny enough, I was actually studying for a certification. Mm-hmm. I was studying my nutrition certification while I was in the recliner. So I was being productive one way or another. But yeah, no, I think I lost a few pounds just because I had no appetite because of the meds.
So again, not the greatest way to lose weight, but it is showing that it's possible. But my point behind mentioning that is we break a foot, so to speak. Our first thing in healing that is not going to be going for a run. It also doesn't mean that we'll never go for a run again. We just have to heal, and it's going to take some time to get there. Rushing through it is never going to work. You know, if we take the cast off halfway through, there's still healing left to do, and we're going to hurt ourselves worse, and we'll start right back where we began. There is an end, the rest of your life, where you're not going to be wearing a cast, where it might feel like that cast is going to be on forever, and some people end up leaving it on a little longer than they need to. But think of this like healing. It's going to be a short period of time that you need to spend a lot of time in doing things that are good for yourself. And then there's a whole life ahead of you. This is not forever so long as you don't make it forever.
That's really well said. That's very, very, that's a great way to put it. Like, you're healing your relationship with food, your relationship with your body, losing the fat, actually achieving the goals you want to achieve. But we also have to make sure that we know what to do so we don't re-break anything. Also, quick side note, how much diabetes, cancer, and calorie fat am I going to add by eating these sweet grapes right here, Mike?
Well, it depends on what angle we take it from. Obviously, we can take it from the first one, which is the fructose, which, depending on who you ask, whatever, guru wants to tell you that the fructose is going to kill you, they'd tell you that. There's the glyphosate crowd, people that couldn't spell it if you told them to, who don't understand that it's not about, having it on the food later. It's the airborne contact. It's the people that are actually like spraying it that run the biggest risk of glyphosate exposure.
Yeah.
And then there's the people that are just like, well, it's carbs.
Yeah. And there's also the people that say like, oh, it's the sugars and it's the highest calorie fruit, so you're better off just having a piece of candy. It's like, you're psychotic.
I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds.
I heard. Okay, so while Mike is he's going to go try to make a funny point, I'm sure. But he did a really good job. I think the analogy around healing is the greatest possible way to describe it. Oh boy, he's got the Oreos.
For the first time on the Big Fellas podcast show, I will be committing to a death-defying stunt.
Oh, Lord.
Eating an Oreo cookie live.
Someone call the authorities.
You can't stop me now, Noah.
Oh,
it's over.
No. He's fallen off the deep end.
It's like the cyanide pill that the Apollo 11 astronauts took with them in case things went wrong. Here we go.
Oh, salud, brother. Oh, don't make me break out the entire thing of animal crackers I got in the cabinet right now, bro.
It's actually pretty good.
Actually, pretty good. Oreos are meth in food form, bro. I love Oreos.
So can we explain for a second, number one, why I didn't die when I took a bite of this?
Well, because it's food. Fun fact, you need food one way or another. There's no such thing as healthy food. There's no such thing as unhealthy food. So it's really silly when people make a big deal about it when you're traveling or, eating something your body's not used to eating. It's not something you're used to meal prepping. It's still, at the end of the day, it still is just food. Your body's going to digest it all the same. Your body might be a little different at digesting it. Like sometimes I actually just had a client recently discover he's lactose intolerant. So sometimes that happens. But overall, your body is going to treat it like everything else. And that food, every food is going to have a different level of a nutrient profile. And what we're saying is during this healing journey, if you just take a little time to actually consume the right content and actually understand the basic premises of what is in your food, you'll have a much better understanding of how to eat more fun food regularly. I eat more fun food regularly now than I ever have. And I lost 100 pounds. And Mike can probably say the same.
Surprise.
Look at that.
This is
I
give me
literally
so
ate
much crap for this.
I ate a tub of strawberry non-fat vanilla Greek yogurt,
Mhm.
and I ate it with animal crackers for breakfast this morning, and it was delicious. Animal crackers are one of those, like, I don't know, some about them. It's like that and like extra toasty Cheez-Its. Whoo! Sorry
They're
for
good.
the mic spike. Man, they're good.
No, that's perfect. Now, let's talk about why that was not a deviation. As of the time of this recording, 3:04 p.m. here on the East Coast, I've got a lot left in my day. Is it over for me? Do I have to start again tomorrow? Do I just finish the rest of these because I had one and then say, well, screw it, I'll just start again on, tomorrow, or I'll start on Monday? It's Wednesday right now. That'll be a long time to wait. Why is it that everything is not ruined because I had one Oreo?
Well, that had about 70 calories. So I honestly probably ate more since we started recording. I probably had more calories from the grapes that I was eating than your fucking Oreo, but nobody's screaming at me for having grapes.
A few
Also,
people are.
probably, yeah. We already called them out though.
Yeah.
But what Mike was saying is, like, with how is my day not ruined? Also, if you still struggle with, I had a bad food today, my day is ruined today, then stop looking at it daily. Start looking at it weekly. That's a big, big mindset shift that I walk my clients through. Is like, if you can start looking at it from a weekly perspective, it's like, hey, I had something unexpected come up. I tried my best, but I still was a little bit over what I planned on doing calorie wise. Guess what? Today's Wednesday. You have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to kind of just even things out a little bit. It's about being good most of the time, and being good has a gigantic asterisk around it. Gigantic, because what Mike and I would both describe as being good, doing the right things around weight loss, includes having fucking Oreos. It includes it, because if you're not going to have it in moderation throughout your day-to-day life, you're going to have Oreos, but it's going to be when you're crying at 3 a.m. in your bedroom, listening to Marvin's Room, and the entire package is gone. So pick your poison.
Well, let's say instead of being good, let's say being consistent, because that's really the word that we're looking for here, is being consistent about what we do. I consistently have one Oreo every day. That sounds crazy to a lot of people listening to me right now, but that's really all I genuinely want. That being said, I did have two today because I also did this demonstration on a live stream about an hour and a half ago. So I've now double dosed. That all being said,
Fucked.
I would have been completely satisfied with the one. It would have been no problem for me to stop. And I showed them what I did about it. I have it up on a taller shelf. I took it down. I took one Oreo out. The package is not usually next to me after I do it. I take it and I walk away with it, and then I eat it once I sit down. But even right now, I'm not craving going back into here. It is next to me, and it's not calling me right now. Why? Because I can have them anytime. If I wanted to have another one, I could. I just work it in, but I genuinely, just because it's available to me all the time, it's not a deviation, and I don't really want it all that much.
Right. Once you realize, it's kind of funny with the psychology behind it, because it's kind of like when you play, like a girl plays hard to get.
Mhm.
Like when you realize that you can have these fun foods on a regular basis, yeah, it's fun to have them and you buy them when you go to the grocery store, you keep them on hand from time to time, but then you just start like the rabid craving for them goes away. I was on a pretty fat Cheez-Its kick towards the tail end of 2023 and I ate them or I bought some, the last few times I went grocery shopping, had them on hand, we'd had some friends over for like New Year's, we all had some Cheez-Its, it was a good time. But now I don't need Cheez-Its for a while. I still look good. My physique is still I'm still on the right track with that. I didn't gain 40 pounds. All that stuff is going well. So I was able to eat foods I love. Physique stayed right where it needs to stay. And honestly, afterwards, it looked even better. And then now don't even really like, I'm not going to say no to Cheez-Its, but also it's like, I'm not going out and buying Cheez-Its. Like
Mhm.
I don't need it like ridiculously bad anymore. So when people talk about how like food is an addiction and different shit like that is a really effective way to make it have less power over you emotionally is just by incorporating it a few times a day or not a day, but a few times a week, a few times a month where depending on what the food is, obviously, it just makes the rabid desire to have that specific naughty food way less. And it's just then it all just becomes like another thing in the diet where it's just like, oh, okay, you know.
One of the big reasons that people will use a vacation or a holiday as a special occasion, like you were talking about before, is the idea that they won't be able to have the food that's in front of them at the moment at a
Ever
different time
again.
of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people listening to us are adults with adult money and use that adult money for things that maybe they feel like they shouldn't. Otherwise, I don't think they would have made it this far into the show with us. You can buy all of the foods that you want anytime you want. You can buy Christmas cookies or make them in July. It doesn't
Mm-hmm.
matter when you have these foods or when they're in front of you. If you want them at a certain point, at any point, you can have them. So, what's making the occasion special? The people.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's the people, it's the social aspect of it, it's the peer pressure that comes along with it as well. Like for somebody who has struggled with binge eating, and I know you have as well, it's a lot of different calibers of things firing all at the same time. But some of it is social, some of it is just, oh, it's available, it's around you, it's next to you. For me, the biggest thing for me, it was an excuse to not be judged by myself or by others. So I could just go fucking hog wild, you know? And hog wild isn't even the right one. It would just be eating for the sake of eating. It wouldn't even be because I was hungry or because I was craving a specific food. I just had
Mhm.
people around. So I would just eat and be like, oh, no one's going to say anything because it's the holidays. And I'm not going to say anything to myself. I'm not going to feel guilty because it's XYZ occasion, you know? And so that was the biggest one for me to get around as well. But now, not only do I have better strategies to prepare for those days before they happen, but also I have better strategies while they are happening to make the most of it, make the enjoyment quality without having any possible reason for guilt whatsoever.
You got me thinking about Cheez Its just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you can
He's
have
gone.
Cheez Its. There's not a magical weight gain chemical in them that you're going to have that's any more or less powerful than another kind of food. It's just a matter of they're a little bit calorie dense and they're easy to eat a lot of.
The serving size for Cheez-Its is actually pretty decent compared to a lot of the other snacky like chip foods.
It's like
The serving
28 of
size,
them.
yeah, it's a decent.
Yeah.
How did you know it was 28 exactly, Mike?
I lost 110 pounds. You don't get through that without also knowing that there's 70 calories in an Oreo. I can rattle that one off too.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I said the same thing
Yeah.
earlier. Touche, my man. Touche.
You know exactly. You don't get to where we are without knowing all that.
Exactly. That's well played, my friend. Do we have any questions we should hop into? Because I got another about 10 minutes, and I wanna let me go through the YouTube video, and I'll pull up some of the comments because we'll prioritize those comments first. But we also got questions on a whole bunch of the other videos
That's great.
of
Yeah, we should
us.
do a little Q&A every time. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I feel like the good way to end the the segments.
Mhm.
All right, let me see if there's any questions on here. Oh, here we go. This one's from Edgar on YouTube. Thank you, Edgar.
Hey, Edgar.
So how would one bring their metabolism up the right way? I yo-yo dieted twice and went up to 300 pounds, but I don't eat much. Looking to get down to 200 pounds. So he's yo-yo dieted twice, ended up going up in weight instead of down in weight, is trying to lose 100 pounds in total and wants to find ways to increase his metabolism because he feels like he doesn't eat much.
Let's just address real quick, because I think we're both thinking about reverse dieting right now, but I do want to address the statement of I don't eat much. What does that mean? What does I don't eat much mean?
That is the one I was going to attack first.
All right, so we're both there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That's the big thing that stood out to me because I have had a lot of people who, most of the time, it does come from people who really struggle with either outdated old school dieting mindset and mantras, or it's people who have just failed other diets over and over and over and over and over. Usually that comes from eating the phantom healthy foods that, you know, they see on the Health Fit magazines and the fucking checkout lines at Kroger and Walmart and stuff. But in reality, he probably is thinking he's eating low calorie, but instead he's actually eating far higher calorie than he's realizing, primarily due to just a couple of those sneaky foods. Like some of the, like a lot of empty calories may be happening as well. Empty calories meaning heavy usage of oil when cooking, a lot of liquid calories, fattier cuts of meat when you can go for leaner cuts of meat, a lot of sauces as well. If I eat a salad with a bunch of sauce on it, it doesn't feel like I'm a sauce guy. So trust me, I'm been all over this. I'm a huge sauce user, and so is Mike. Not to make a cliche example, but when you eat a salad, you have a bunch of dressing on it. We can come about that, all different types of attack angles there. But it's really, he doesn't feel like he's eating very much, but he's digesting a ton of calories. And you want to do the exact opposite.
I've got a visual aid here. Another Oreo and a banana. These two are round about the same calories.
Pretty much.
One of them is not a lot of food. The other one, it looks like quite a bit more food. But if I were to have as many Oreos, and that's part of why it's going to make it, because imagine eating 2 bananas. You can't do it. There's some people out there who could, but you're the outlier. You're the unicorn. You stack enough Oreos on here to make up the size of a banana, you're going to get 5 or 6 times the amount of calories from those Oreos that you would from the banana.
From the same amount of food.
For the same amount of food. So people will think, I'm not eating a lot of food. And you're not. That's true. It's just that the calories might be a little more dense than you're expecting. But that's something that we would have to look into. We'd have to get your chart and figure all that out.
And what do we call this one strategy, Mike?
What do we call
volume eating?
Volume eating. High volume, low calorie.
That is, if I had to put it to one thing, it's volume eating. For myself, for my own personal journey, that's what I'm saying. That was the biggest shift because I have the appetite of a blue whale and I need to eat a lot of food on my plate. I'm still have a very large appetite. The appetite didn't fucking leave. Okay, so some people think your stomach shrinks when you lose weight. Fuck no. Unless you have literally like surgery for it, it's a little different. But I still have a big boy appetite. So I just found out the right foods to be eating are the foods that I can eat a shitload of, an irresponsible amount of, with very low calories. Mm-hmm. And I also just got a teensy bit creative in the kitchen to make it taste fucking bomb. Also, hang on. You distracted. All right, I'm going to be back in 23 seconds.
Welcome back to the Big Fella Podcast. It's just me, Mike Pridgeon. At Mike Needs a Plan. Available. I used to have a co-host. Very handsome, very decent guy. Not sure where he went. But we're going to see if I can run the show here on my own. Oh, he's back.
I found at Costco last weekend Japanese barbecue sauce.
Oh my!
It's fucking delicious. It's so good. I put it on like I made a talk about volume eating. My lunch yesterday was chicken, 2 entire cans of green beans, and an entire can of diced potatoes. Nice. All the veggies was like the size of a baking sheet to fill it up with. And it was like 180 calories in total. On top of the nutrient density and all that good stuff. But the amount of food was fucking heinous. And then I threw some of this stuff on there. It's only 35 calories per tablespoon. So it's not the lowest calorie sauce in the world, but it goes a really far way, or a really long way. This stuff is awesome. I'm a huge fan. A lot of my clients know this. I'm a huge fan of like Chinese, Asian cuisine, Japanese food, like all that stuff. I'm all about it. So I've always got soy sauce and hoisin sauce, teriyaki, different shit like that all the time. Korean barbecue, that's my thing. So this is a really, really good way to get really, really creative. I put 2 tablespoons of this add 70 calories to make the entire bowl of food that I'm eating taste like I am in a Japanese like hibachi restaurant. Come on, just be a little creative. You'll blow your fucking mind.
My honey mustard that I use every day, I use 5 servings of it. It's 5 calories per serving. So
What brand?
25 in. And it's great. Oh, yeah, Berman. Yeah. You know what it is. Yeah, you probably use
Oh, the Berman ones. Yeah. From Aldi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the honey mustard.
Hell yeah. Yes. I can't find it at mine, though.
Oh, no.
I can't find. Yeah, they took the Berman sauces out. I've been looking. Well, they have some. I have a few of them, but I need to look for more because I want the honey mustard. I'm a big fan of honey mustard.
I'll mail you some.
Please.
Okay. So let's get to another one before we head out of here.
Yeah, I think I found the rest of mine. We have a lot of people just hyping up the episode on the YouTube channel. So let me check the TikTok comments because that was the only question we.
Thank you so much to everyone. I was reached out to by a bunch of people who said they really liked it. So keep doing that. Keep telling us what you like and what you don't like, and we will adjust accordingly. We're a bunch of people pleasers. We want to make sure that you are having a good experience here on the Big Fellas podcast show. I'm going to keep using the word podcast until you're more comfortable hearing it, because I've already told you before, and I told you when you had an issue with it last time, that there's a lot of people who have podcasts that shouldn't. And you're the opposite of that.
I love yapping with fun people. It's really just there's enough bozos on the internet yapping that probably shouldn't be yapping, but that's not my place to say. Anyway, I have one final thing. You did comment on you already you didn't reply, but you put a like on the comment. But it says, my downfall has always been that I will eat out of boredom. I'm trying to be more conscientious about it, but it is rough. So not really a question, but he's talking about boredom eating. How do we get around boredom eating?
Well, we can't solve it with boring food, can we?
Very true. Also,
you can't put yourself on a meal plan to make that happen. Gotta solve the boredom.
Gotta solve the boredom. Your brain's looking for cheap, easy dopamine. And a really good way that I love to use for myself and for my clients, if you're trying to identify whether you're bored or if you actually want to eat, the apple test. If I gave you an apple or a banana or a pound of fucking green grapes, would you eat it?
I call it the warm
yes.
banana test.
Yeah, the warm banana test. Apple test, same thing. Same concept applies. If you would say yes to eating that, you are hungry, you should go find a snack or a meal. If you would say no, you're fucking bored. Go for a walk. Get some fresh air. Go get some fresh air and touch some grass. Or play with your dog. Get some non-exercise activity in. Who knows? Go to Costco and buy some Japanese barbecue sauce.
And you know what? I'll take the heat for this. Sometimes you can just have a snack. You want a snack?
Oh, no, for sure.
But go ahead and do something with it. Go out for a walk or whatever. If it's at night, obviously it's a little bit more precarious because you've got more access to it. But that's where my 3 or 4 part system comes in of eating these Oreos. I don't bring the package with me usually unless I'm recording a show like this and I don't want to walk back and waste more time. I put it up on a tall shelf. I pull it down. I open up the package, which is supposedly reclosable. Obviously, you can see it's not so much right now. Take one out, put it back in. If I want another one, I'll go up and get it. But usually I don't. Usually that's enough.
Just make it really easy for yourself to make the right decision. Just load your fucking pantry with a bunch of low-calorie, high-volume foods. And it's okay to be boredom snacking every once in a while. If you're boredom snacking on bananas, boredom snacking on grapes, boredom snacking on like rice cakes or pretzels even. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to just make it really easy just to have. Like, also, there's 100 calorie popcorn. If you're the type of person that just needs something to munch on when you're watching a movie, there's a ton of really, really quality, low calorie, sugar-free Jell-O is 5 calories per container. 5. And I can't taste the difference.
There's a type of popcorn that they've not had at my grocery store for a little while, which it used to be I'd have a bag of it like most nights. And it's from a company called Healthy Pop. And they've got these 100-calorie bags of butter popcorn. And it's a lot of food for that 100 calories. And I just pop it. I know that it's 100 calories. And it's going to fill me up. It's satisfying. It actually tastes good. It's not like that fake butter flavor that you get from some other healthier ones that have more calories in them. They're running some magic in there. It's
Yeah, no,
very
that's
cool.
it's huge. It's a giant hack because it makes you feel like you're just living a normal life because you are. People are saying, "Oh, I don't want to live the soulless diet food life." My brother in Christ, you're still eating popcorn. You're still eat. I mean, just have some fun with it every once in a while. You're allowed to do that. The 100-calorie popcorn one is one I recommend religiously. I don't eat it very much myself, purely because I'm just not the biggest popcorn guy. That's the
Mhm.
only reason. But I still will get it from time to time. So I think that's a good place to stop. We've got a whole other bunch of different ideas. Mikey went on a fun little mini vacation last week, so we didn't get a recording in. So that little tiny hiatus that you guys probably didn't notice too much will not happen again, hopefully
Nope.
for the foreseeable future. We'll keep busting these out. They should be coming out either Sundays or Mondays, most days. The big fellas, and this will keep going for a while. You guys keep asking questions. Drop questions in the YouTube comments because that's where we are always going to be looking first. YouTube comments. And if we ever make any changes about like different channels, whatever, we'll tell you guys, obviously. But right now, it's going to be here on the Big Fella Fitness YouTube channel. And I'll have links. Mike will have links. Be very, very good for everybody involved. And then I'm sure in a couple months from now, once the weather gets less garbage outside, we'll do some in-person episodes as well.
We are so back.
We are so back.
Any parting
All right.
words? Because I've got an interesting parting word here.
No, I don't got anything in the chamber. Go ahead.
Sweet potatoes are okay. Not only
Sweet
are they okay
potatoes.
to have, they're very good and they're delicious.
Oh.
They're high volume. They've got a whole bunch of vitamin A in them. They're filling, and they're not going to make you fat unless you eat a whole bunch of them and go into a calorie surplus. So if you're afraid of sweet potatoes or regular potatoes, cut that out. Don't cut them out. Add some. Have a bit.
There you go.
Parting
Fun
word.
fact, my favorite vegetable of all time is sweet potatoes.
Oh, really?
And Ashley and I are going to have steak and sweet potatoes for dinner tonight.
Well, you're going to like my first ever recipe then. Ooh, there we go. A little cliffhanger there. I'll tell you after the episode, but everyone else is going to have to wait. Oh, yeah?
Bye, guys. Keep it simple.